3. All you got to do is show up, say hi, and order some food and beverages right outside. We might stop by.
Going on till the end of the show. Free food and drinks, New York.
6:30 to 9:30. Hey, we're back with David Diehl. After dropping 3 straight games and teetering on the brink of dropping out of the playoff picture, the Cowboys responded by beating Washington 38-14 last night. Dak Prescott still struggled, throwing for just over 100 yards, also had 2 touchdowns. Cowboys improved to 6-6, keeping their playoff hopes alive. Here's Dak after the game talking about the importance of getting this win.
It's huge. It's huge. It's exactly what we needed. I mean, that was Cowboy football. That was to our expectations and our standards. But we can't sit here in this one victory. We've got to move forward, and we've got to grow off of this one and get better.
All right, David, tell me what the Cowboys did in this game. Did they convince you that they could kind of hold everything at bay until Zeke comes back?
Well, for the time being, they did. I think when you have 3 takeaways in the first half and 4 on the game and a special teams touchdown, that's going to get you that win that you needed desperately up against the Washington Redskins. But we all know Ezekiel Elliott's the catalyst. We've been talking about this for weeks with all of us sitting here thinking about it because figure the 3 games that they had without him that they lost. I mean, we're looking at Atlanta, Philadelphia, and the Chargers, who are 16-5. After this win with the Washington Redskins, they have the Giants coming up next and Oakland, who are all combined 12-21, all losing records. So if they can capitalize and Ezekiel Elliott comes back after that for the Seattle and Philadelphia game, now you're starting to get into that playoff race with the Lions. You're starting to get into it with the Panthers, with the Falcons, or the Rams, or the Seahawks. It gives you the opportunity, but let's face it, we know that going into this one and even possibly 10-6 might not get you into the run.
The key, you mentioned the 10-6 might not get you in. Everyone, I don't know if everyone knows, but we've talked a lot about how Atlanta has a tiebreaker with almost everyone that they could be up against. What could work in Dallas's favor is they play Seattle. If they beat Seattle and that tiebreaker becomes a 3-way issue, the head-to-head no longer matters. So if Atlanta, Seattle, and Dallas all finish tied. But we're a long ways from that.
Yeah.
They would have, for this to even be a discussion, they have to run the table the rest of the way. And I give them all the credit in the world last night because they got a win that they absolutely had to get.
No question.
But your point on the turnovers is well taken. In NFL history, if you win the turnover battle by 4 or more, you win 95% of the time.
If you score on special teams, your winning goes up to 75%.
Right. And so when you do both of those, you win literally almost 100% of the time. So they were supposed to win yesterday's game, and Washington made a lot of unforced and forced errors. The concerns about this offense without Zeke still apply, even though the offensive line late in that game yesterday looked more like the offensive line we're used to, where they're overpowering the opponent.
Yeah, but it was a depleted team. What did they prove to me? If they get an incompetent team with a bunch of injuries, if they stick with the running game, yes, they might be able to win.
Yeah.
Because Dak could have still lost that game. So does anybody taking anything positive from the Cowboys? They watched a different game than me. Because going into that game, Nick, you said the pressure's on Dak. Dak looked awful. The wide receiver, did they make 2 plays? They made 2 plays in the game, all right? Washington turns the ball over. Washington's got a mountain of injuries. Kirk Cousins, if he's not a franchise quarterback, I don't know what a franchise quarterback is.
No lineman, no running backs.
No line, no running back, no wide receivers. Oh, Dotson, the young receiver. Yeah, that's his best receiver.
He's putting 30 on the Vikings. He's putting 30 on the Seahawks.
One of the picks he threw last night went through the receiver. One pick was a bad throw, but one went through the receiver's hand, went right to the
Should have been down inside the 5-yard line to start him off leading the football game. That gets picked off. So it was one of those kind of games. So what did I learn? Nothing. Is there more doubt in my mind as far as Dak? It would be hard to go beyond the doubt that I have with the receiving core they had. It's good to see that the offensive line played a stellar football game. That was the only good note from the game.
But David, this is a team that really did have a hard time putting points up. They did put 38 points up. And if they're trying to just keep the ship afloat until Zeke gets back, does that stand out to you as something of a positive?
I mean, obviously, when you have those takeaways, it's how they came, though. It's not like they were methodically driving down the field, eating up the clock.
They weren't even able to do that the last couple of weeks.
And putting their demoralized taste in that defense like they can with Ezekiel Elliott. So it's not like it was done that way. And, yes, numbers are great. Yes, but Once again, we get back to the production. Alfred Morris ran well. The offensive line were able to impose their will on the defense in a banged-up Washington team offensively with 3 starters on their offensive line gone. And when you don't have a Chris Thompson, that's what you see in the offense.
And then the starting tailback got dinged. He was in the concussion protocol
so he's in
for
the
half the
concussion
game.
protocol. So it's great, yes. The Dallas put up the numbers, that they did what they did, that Witten is now finally back involved in the offense because he used to have to be in line and chip because of the issue with Tyron Smith out. But they still don't have that killer instinct for the team to be able to take over the game when they need to, and they have that when they have his Ohio State guy, Zeke.
When you have perfect conditions to throw the football, and you back the quarterback up 22 times, and he only completes 11 of them. Now, unless he's going against the Steel Curtain, the Purple People Eaters, all right?
The 85 Bears.
85 Bears, Ray Lewis. Like, this is not a performance you're going to come out of and been like, you know something? Wow, I'm really pleased with that. 50% of my throws in perfect condition.
And CC, you know I'm not a huge completion percentage guy. I'm a big yards per attempt guy. I can deal with 11 of 22 if it was, hold on.
In the NFL?
Hold on. If it's because...
Yeah, if it was a hurricane.
No, well, wait a second.
Sounds like we're talking about the Wisconsin quarterback.
Wait, hold on. If he's 11 of 22... but he has 190 yards, and it's 9 yards per attempt because he's just...
I don't expect the NFL quarterback to be 11 to 22, Nick.
Okay, that's
he would have 300 yards.
CC, well, 11, 22 for 300 yards, you absolutely would take me 30 yards per, or it'd be 15 yards per attempt. Not my point. My point is, this was a particularly bad 11 of 22 because they weren't deep throws. Like, you know, the further the ball travels in the air, the harder it's going to be to complete it, especially for Dak. So the fact that he was 11 of 22 on short throws is more to the point. I wasn't disagreeing with your point. Like, he was missing easy throws throughout the game.
But the thing
you said that was a very important game.
Absolutely.
So what type of positivity did we take from the game?
For Dak, none. For the team as a whole, some.
And when has Dak had those explosive plays? When they can run play action and they're running the football down their throat. Because then he's not scared, then he's letting it rip, and now he's not worried about, should I throw this one, should I question? He plays with reaction and free instead of thinking and overthinking, all this is on my shoulders, which you can see he's feeling right now as a quarterback.
Yes.
All right, David, thank you so much.
All right.
See you, brother. Hanging out with us.
Great Friday, everyone.
Appreciate it, man.
You're not going to want to miss what Gronk has to say about jumping through tables. Tables. Through them. Jumping.
Gronk.
First things first.
Future professional wrestler Rob Gronkowski.
I was dying laughing when he did the interview last